You're fast approaching your first season in the role. Just wondering how the expectations actually worked out with the reality of the job in hand.
We're happy the first year of in my involvement anyway. I'm happy enough with the way things are going, but it's only the start. It's only the start in terms of where we think we can take things as well. The sports ground has been the home of Connacht Rugby for a long, long time, and we'd love it to remain so. But we have to look at what is the best option for Connacht Rugby. But we know we want a better facility. We want one that matches the ambitions of our fans and of our players and everyone involved in Connacht Rugby. And that process is something we're going through at the moment. The sports ground would ultimately be where we'd love to be. But as I said, we have to explore all options, and that's something we're doing.
Have you managed to sort of spread the net around the 5 counties in terms of, you know, spreading the message, spreading the load, and hopefully identifying talent in Connacht from areas that one wouldn't normally associate with rugby?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at our current squad, we have a hooker from Tubbercurry in Sligo in Sean Henry. We have a hooker from Ballina and Mayo in Dave Heffernan. We have Dennis Buckley from Roscommon. We have Robbie and Jack Carty from Athlone. So that is literally all around the province. You know, we do have to make more from less, just from a demographic perspective. But, you know, we take that on as a challenge rather than something that we think is some sort of major issue we have. Eric is hugely passionate about Connacht Rugby. The talent that's coming through at a very young age, for them to have the opportunity to have someone like Eric Elwood taking charge of their pathway is something that they'll probably only appreciate in years to come when they look back and they go, wow, we were fortunate to have that.
I mean, you made a massive statement in signing somebody. Very few people have 100 caps for New Zealand. Mills Muliaina, getting him to come to Connacht. Just how big an impact has he made, just his presence alone?
It is a massive statement that someone like Mills Muliaina looks at Connacht and says, I want to come here, or I want to play with that team. And it's the message that sends out across a wider group as well. We can see that in some of the other provinces, in the fact that players came into each of those groups and changed the dynamic culturally as well as in terms of the standards that they set. And none of the things that Mills has come in and said are earth-shattering in their complexity. It's the simplicity, actually, if anything else, and it's just the little things that make a difference to deliver in a high-performance environment. And he's been super in that regard. A really, really humble guy who doesn't forget where he's come from, and he has fitted in so well into the environment that we have. The day Ireland were playing England, we had a match in the sports ground that day, and in our hospitality area, we had large screens up there to watch the match before our game. I mean, the excitement that people got out of the fact that, number one, Robbie was playing, number two, he scored effectively a match-winning try, and number three, he was man of the match. I mean, they were cheering for him with immense pride, and within Connacht Rugby, we take huge pride from it. But, you know, Robbie is a story of someone who's played grassroots rugby in his club, played with school rugby through Marist, who wouldn't have been a traditional rugby school. And Connacht Rugby, in terms of the professional environment, have only had Robbie for a very short period of time. It's all the work that went into him all the way through that, and it shows what we're doing at domestic and at grassroots level. There are Robbies out there, and it's brilliant that we have Robbie achieving it on the highest possible stage. It's brilliant.
How damaging would it be if you were to lose Robbie?
It isn't just about retaining Robbie Henshaw, it's retaining a much wider pool of talent that we're generating on an annual basis, and also other players want to come, and we're getting those calls. We're getting calls from players who say, I'd like to come and be part of your squad. That's a change, that's an entire change in the mindset of people. So, you know, like Robbie is a key part of what we're about. He's representative of our vision for grassroots to green shirts, without a doubt. But there are other players we want to absolutely make sure that we're retaining across the board. And I'm confident we can do it.
It's going to be a very challenging couple of weeks for you.
Yeah, very challenging. You know, when I started the role and our first game arrived in September, and I was told by everyone around me that it would be the biggest game of the season, which was the first game against Dragons. And we won that, and we went into the second game and I was told that that would be the biggest game of the season. That hasn't stopped the whole way through the league. We'll have a tough run in, without a doubt. Remember, we're playing Gloucester in a Challenge Cup quarter-final next week. You know, if Connacht were to take a trophy back to Connacht, and to be able to parade it out around the province, the impact that would have in rugby in our province would be huge. So we just want to be competing at the highest level, and competing at the tail end of the season where you're getting into business matters, that's for sure.
And just finally, 5 years' time, where do you see Connacht Rugby?
We want to play a very significant role in terms of the Irish effort as well. So it's the grassroots, the green shirts of Connacht, but also the green shirts of Ireland. That's the role that we want to play, and everything else feeds into that. So all the supports that go into that in terms of our commercial revenues, we want to drive our commercial revenues, we want a stadium that's fit for purpose, we want a lot of Indigenous players involved. It all feeds into that vision. We want to be competing at the highest level, obviously, but they're the outcomes. The main thing is, let's do things right, let's work extremely hard at it, and I believe we can do it, I genuinely do.